the story was released, it painted a picture as if the amount of money you spend is related to the success of the event.
The comments had a lot of negativity. It was leading towards wastefulness, showiness.
We're doing it too much. We're forgetting the reasons to celebrate.
And here they are, your hosts, Dylan Weisman and Mike Langston.
So welcome into the brand new recording studio for Mastering Mitzvahs, episode 151. Mike, you here with us?
I'm here. Last week or 2 weeks ago was our, special edition, director's cut, where we talked about the Super Bowl showcase. And we loved actually doing a live recording next to each other in studio. So we're amplifying the feel here.
We'll keep adding and tweaking, but I think that we're off to a good start here, and I'm excited for it. Episode 151, we're turning a page here, and it's March. I think that's why we instinctually both wore green today.
Not planned at all. Not planned.
Look, green is a color of luck, so we wish you guys all good luck in your mitzvah planning. So,
funny enough, it's also a color of money, and that's like the topic that we're going to be talking about.
Right. It is. So, to fill you guys in, I was interviewed by the Philadelphia Inquirer for a story that they were writing about bar and bat mitzvahs and the budget expectations of them, or at least that's what I thought it was.
The overall cost of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. At least that's what I was thought. And I was contacted by the writer, and I hooked them up with a bunch of different vendors and a bunch of different families to talk to. And really what it came down to is when the story was released, it painted a picture as if the amount of money you spend is related to the success of the event. And that's what I want to kind of set the record straight about. Because we often talk about all of the different things that you can add to your event to make it special. And I think the official stance of every great vendor that I know, including Explosive Entertainment, is let's never forget the reasons why we're celebrating. And the reason we celebrate is the coming of age tale for your kid, for this 12 or 13-year-old young man or woman as they ascend into Jewish adulthood. And it's so much more than just the religious side of it, because I think that there's a lot attached to just becoming an adult in all aspects of your life and taking on that responsibility in your family. And you're celebrated for that.
Yeah, so Dylan, let's go backwards here. Philadelphia Inquirer, very respected, periodical, interviewed you. They didn't really fill you in specifically on like the tone or direction that they were going. I don't know if even after reading it that I picked up on the tone, but the readers that were commenting in all these online newspapers have editorials where people could just put their comments, and the comments had a lot of negativity, and I didn't get to read all of them, but I think it was leading towards wastefulness, showiness. What other feelings did you pick up on?
It just seemed like it painted a picture that the families who were going above and beyond, the normal just service, were doing it wrong. We're doing it too much. We're forgetting the reasons to celebrate.
I noticed one thing that it left out, and we hear this all the time after parties. It was the best day of my life. That should be like the headline of this story, because a bar bat mitzvah for a 13-year-old is typically the best day of their life up to this point. Like, maybe their wedding might supersede that, or maybe the day that they graduate college or buy their first house. But up until you're 13-year-old, it's the best day of their life. And one, it might have been Jamie Richmond who was quoted in the story, and I hope it was her that I'm saying this right, said she still now in her 40s looks back at the bat mitzvah as one of the best days of her youthful life. So that's what the story should have been more about. And I think what we want to do now is set the record straight on what our approach is and what most vendors' approach is. It's not to raise the bill. It's not to force people to spend six figures. It's actually, we're providing a service and we're asking clients, what is it that you want and how can we deliver that vision?
Right. So the stance that Explosive has always taken is you don't need anything. We'll give you whatever you want, but you don't need anything except a great vision, a great reason to celebrate, in this case your kid, and vendors that you trust to pull it off. And we actually have a package called the Essentials Package. It's our most entry-level package. And in our Essentials Package is what we believe to be the recipe for success and nothing else. It includes for us an MC, DJ, and 2 motivators. Now, outside of the number of guests that you have, which would change the scale of how many people we believe to bring, that is the recipe for success. You don't need anything else because we believe in our process and the way that we approach entertainment and the way that we train our staff and the way that our coordinators work with you.
And let's actually say that's the recipes for success for a typical dance party. Not all bar bat mitzvahs are
That's
a
right.
dance party. And actually, this is a Philadelphia story. Like, there's a term in Philadelphia world that's kind of going away, but there's a sock hop, which is a kids party. Like, I think our Essentials package still works well there, works very well there. But, families first have to understand what is their vision. Is it to have this gigantic rager with 300 people in this, lavish ballroom with a ton of decor? Or is it to have a kids party, in your backyard or at a firehouse or VFW? Right then and there, that dictates price point significantly. But the Essentials package, as you said, is everything you need essentially to have a perfect dance party.
Yep. And I say that to my families all the time. I say, if you did nothing else, you'd have a 10 out of 10 celebration because we believe in the right reasons to celebrate. And if we're going to get together to celebrate your child and all of their accomplishments, and we come in with that kind of attitude, it's easy to find the fun.
Yeah, so one of my takeaways from reading the story, though, was why shame a family for spending a lot of money? In reality, if they have the money to do it, if they worked hard, they should be able to spend the money however they want, whether they put a pool in their backyard, whether they buy a new sports car, or whether they spend it on a celebration for their kid. Let them spend the money however they want. I do think it's problematic when families put themselves in debt over these things. Like, while it is the most special day of this child's life, there's a, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a way to do it that doesn't put you in the poorhouse. And you have to be respectful to what you can and cannot afford. But if a family wants to spend 6 figures, and there were several analogies in the story of people that did spend 6 figures or even $250,000 on a party, let them do it. Why shame them? Why put them out there?
So I think it goes back to an idea of making an investment on your celebration. This is an investment. It's an investment in your child's self-esteem and childhood. It's an investment in you and how you're going to look back on raising your kids. So what is it that you can afford to invest? And then what are you going to get back out of it? So, we say it all the time, don't spend money on silly things that don't align with that vision for investment.
Right, absolutely.
Right? So, I think what really needs to happen here is families should be taking a hard look at, are we celebrating for the right reasons still? With every decision they make, will this amplify my kid's coming of age tale? And if the answer isn't unequivocally yes, then you have to take a hard look at that line item of enhancement and say, all right, well, maybe this isn't something that we should be spending money on.
Right. And there are many ways to celebrate becoming a bar or bat mitzvah. My brother became a bar mitzvah at an adult age while on a trip to Israel.
Yeah.
And it didn't cost tens of thousands of dollars. In fact, it probably was virtually free. He was out there and was like, it's time, I'm going to go through this rite of passage, and he did.
I don't think that there's ever, at least in our experiences, and look, New Jersey, Philadelphia, New York is like the epicenter for these high-end, lavish bar and bat mitzvahs in the country. But maybe I'm just lucky, but I haven't had a family who didn't start with the simple fact that I'm excited to do this for my kid. I'm excited to have my child take that next step in their Jewish learning or take that next step towards adulthood. Because let's be real about it. The fact of the matter is that this is not only an accomplishment in the Jewish sense of the word, but it's an accomplishment for your entire family, for all of the generations preceding it. And I think that deserves celebration. It's a coming of age tale of your entire family and everything that came before. Lador vador, the generation to generation. And that needs to be celebrated. And that's why we include grandparents in a candle lighting. That's why we include a mother-son dance or a father-daughter dance. It's to celebrate the coming of age tale of an entire family.
I thought you were going to say something very different. And everything you said is so spot on. But there's so, like, I've never had a family say they regret spending this money. Like, let's face it, at the end of these parties, the families love every second of it. And it's because of the memories that they can make. And a memory is worth its weight in gold. You know, like, thing quoted in the story also was somebody who got to celebrate, and it was one of their last times when they were a kid celebrating and being with their own grandparents. You know, like, you know, that I guess the days of having a family reunion are kind of passé. Like, you don't hear too many people have family reunions and go to a park and all the generations from all the different states come together. A bar bat mitzvah, like a wedding or in a Catholic religion, a communion, a christening, is a celebration where you bring your family members together and, you know what? Yeah, get dressed up, dance together, drink together, eat good food together. Do something out of the norm. I mean, not to shame a barbecue or a park party, but like, you could eat a hamburger and cheese, you know, a hot dog anytime. But when you get to celebrate on a higher level with your friends and family and have them all together, that's something so special that those memories, and that's why we do suggest photography and videography, is because not only do you have those memories in your mind, but like they live on forever in print and on film.
That's right. That's right. So I think to tie it all up, and this is a relatively short episode, but it's really just the more or less official stance for Explosive, is, guys, this is your celebration, and you should do with it what you want, what you can afford, and what's right for your family. And if it's going on a trip to Israel, or celebrating in your backyard, or bringing it to a sports facility, celebrating with the right reasons in mind should always be that focal point. And if it comes with a dollar sign, you need to understand what the investment on that is. And don't forget about celebrating. Let's celebrate it. And I think that really is the tone for great vendors. And you can kind of tell the difference when someone's trying to sell you something or when someone's trying to help elevate your celebration in a way that's meaningful to your family values and your ideals.
And more often than not, you as the end client have a vision of what you want. And if you want the proper team to execute it, yeah, there's a cost that comes with it. But your vision doesn't have to be so grandiose. It could be simple. And I don't know anybody really that pressures clients to getting things that they don't ask about. In fact, I had a meeting this morning. I didn't bring up the word swag at all. And all of a sudden, there was a whole conversation from the family that was talking about a swag shop as people were leaving. I'm not forcing that upon them. That was something that they wanted. And can we make it happen? Sure. Is it going to raise the bill? Sure. And still to this point, it's not a forced issue. They have every right to say, you know what, I thought about it. It's not for me.
You know what, Mike? I think about my own career, and I started so long ago. I'm not terribly old, but being in this for so long, I never went into this thinking that it was going to be my career. And I don't know too many people who do that. Like, they don't start up a bar mitzvah company. They kind of fall into it because they start with the right reasons in mind, to celebrate and to make those memories and to serve the people, or in this case, the Jewish community. I look back and I haven't lost that. I'm the world's worst salesperson because of it, because we're not going to oversell you, and no respectful and respectable vendor is going to oversell you. So if it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't.
So I think you're trying to tie up the podcast, and let's just boil it all back down. This article was put together to, I guess, show the world what the potential could be. For the readers that are reading it, don't shame people for spending so much. If they have it in their budget, let them do it. And let them celebrate their family, celebrate the accomplishments of their child, and embrace the fact that this is an amazing day to have all their friends and family together in one place, typically on a upscale opportunity. Like you don't get to go on a family vacation with all the friends and family. Like, there was in the story, I think it had used a comparison to a wedding. And outside of the wedding, there may not be another opportunity to get that many friends and family together all to celebrate something so special. And this is equal to a wedding for all intents and purposes. The importance of it seriously is.
Yeah. My perspective is simple. A wedding you have to share with an entire other segment of family that you may adore or you may not know well. In this moment, in this case, it is only the people that you love and care about right there for one singular reason, and that's your kid.
Yeah, and Dylan, you were saying before, and I don't know if the words came out the way that I'm envisioning them, but every bar bat mitzvah guest of honor has felt a special way after their party. Their parents have said they're a different person after they've graduated and become a bar bat mitzvah. They are more mature, they're more confident. It's not because we handed out swag or because we had these fancy lights. It's because they were confident enough to stand at the bima, read from the Torah, which is terrifying to most. And then they get to be celebrated in front of their friends and family, and the stress and the weight comes off their shoulders. They get to actually, public speaking doesn't come easy for most. And here you're putting a adolescent in the spotlight to be the public speaker. And when they do it and they get nothing but praise from their friends and family, it elevates who they are. And it's worth every penny.
That's right. I don't think we can say it better than that. So let's tie a bow on this episode 151. That's Mike Langsner. I'm Dylan Weisman, and you have tuned in to Mastering Mitzvahs. We'll see you next time.